Hi there, and welcome to Viditrainer Interviews. It is early 2013, and we thought it's a perfect time to get started with the Viditrainer Interview series. With us today is Gordon Mackay. Now, for those of you who don't know, and most people actually do know who Gordon is a well-known South African speaker, business coach, a mentor, and an entrepreneur himself. Gordon has made a name for himself in property and also as a speaker in the field of wealth creation and helping people to become financially free. So it was quite nice for us to catch up with Gordon and hear his views on, attaining financial freedom, how to handle your business, how to handle tough times, and a little bit just about himself. So stay tuned right after the break to hear what Gordon has said to us. Hi there, and welcome to Viditrainer Interviews. With us today, a South African person with, I think, a lot to talk about, a lot to tell all our subscribers. His name is Gordon Mackay. I've been following Gordon for a while on the internet now. Gordon is a guy that does a lot of coaching. He has run a number of businesses. He's still running successful businesses even now. That being said, Gordon has reached a point where he could retire financially, or at least he reached financial freedom. So Gordon, thank you very much for joining us on Viditrainer Interviews and welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thanks very much, Deon. Pleasure.
It's always nice when we talk to South Africans. As you know, with Viditrainer, what we try to do is improve our subscribers' lives and their businesses. And, before the interview started, you and I spoke about the mad rush for most business people, the way they almost try and keep up with everything, going on in their lives and their businesses.
Right.
Before we get to that, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? Just, who is Gordon Mackay and what do you do?
Okay. Pleasure, Deon. I come from a middle class background. I was born in Johannesburg, and I've led a very simple life. I was just very fortunate at a very young age to develop correct belief systems. And I think that I attribute a lot of my success to. And because I believe any human being can achieve whatever they want, but they've just got to believe it. And it's unfortunate. There's a lot of TV, there's a lot of media today, so people are getting fed a lot of wrong information. I was very fortunate. I didn't have that when I was young. We never had TV those days, and I hardly listened to the radio.
Yeah.
So basically, I come from a very simple background, humble background, and I just was very fortunate to have parents that encouraged me and told me I could get whatever I want. So that's in a nutshell, yeah.
Yeah. So you would say that you had your framing almost, done from or started from a very early age then.
Sorry, what is that again? Sorry,
Your
Dion?
mindset, would you say then it started from an early age?
Yes. I always believed, even as a little kid, I could be and have anything I want. When you're kids, and you dream anything, you believe anything. And I'm very fortunate I had that. I was never told I was wrong. I was always encouraged to believe, you can have whatever you want. So I was very fortunate.
Yeah, exactly. So how did you get into business then?
Yes.
What I'm saying, so can you hear me, Gordon? Can you hear me properly?
Right, yeah.
When you started out with your business the first time around, how did that happen? What was the thing that got you into business at first?
Okay, I was in my final year at university, and my cousin, who was in the restaurant game, invited me to go into partnership to open a restaurant in Umhlanga Rocks. I was living in Johannesburg at the time. And fortunately, because I was in the habit of saving, I'd saved enough money for my half share.
Oh yeah.
So my first venture was I went into the restaurant game on with hardly any money. Yeah.
Okay, so you got into Gordon's Prawn. I saw that was your restaurant.
Yes.
It seemed to have been quite a well-known restaurant.
That's right. Yes, we were in partnership for the first 2 months. We were called Prawn Peri Peri then,
Okay.
and then we dissolved the partnership because we had difference of opinions, and then I took over the whole restaurant and changed the name also, because there was a lot of competition at the time.
Okay. And how did it go with the restaurant?
It was tough in the beginning. Believe me, it was tough, and that's I learned the hard way through experience, and actually thankful for those days because we were actually going through a session then too, when I opened. And that's you can have all the education in the world, get all the degrees, unless you have systems and have the skills. I don't believe you can be a success. So I developed the skills through Streetwise principles. Yeah.
Yeah, I can but only agree with that. I also have a number of degrees behind me. You know what? When you start out with your own business, it's almost as if it doesn't matter. You're learning,
Yes.
everything new. Everything is new when you start out in business.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you started doing quite well, and out of the restaurant business, it seemed that you went into property. What was that, and why did that happen?
It was actually by mistake. A friend who moved down to Durban from Johannesburg offered me a property to buy. I remember it was 26,000 rand, and I had no idea. I thought, I'm going to buy it because I could borrow most of the money, and that's what I started doing. And then there was always a shortfall, and I just treated it as a forced way of saving, and I used to accumulate properties like that year after year
Okay, okay.
and put tenants in them. Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about the property a little bit more then.
Sure.
What I'd like to talk about first, though, is I know that you went through a really tough time in your business or in your life even.
Yeah.
At one stage, it was in the early 90s I saw.
Right.
And what was that? What happened there?
I wanted to actually change, and because I used to socialize a lot, and I thought, there's got to be more to life than this. And I saw an advert in a business magazine of this gentleman, Ben Iman, who developed the stock market program, and I knew him very
Oh,
well.
yeah.
And to cut a long story short, I bought his system. It was called Low Risk Strategy, and I started investing in the stock market, but I used borrowed money.
Okay.
In
Oh,
the beginning, I made a lot of money,
yeah.
and then unfortunately, I thought it's so easy, and I thought I could do the same thing as I was doing in property, use
Yeah.
borrowed money. And I made a big mistake because I borrowed over 5 million, which I couldn't afford the repayments, and the market went the other way.
Yeah.
And so things just went worse and worse. You probably read about that already. Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially what happened is you built up a stock market business or investing in stocks
Yes.
with borrowed money, and then the market went south, and that's it. You
Yeah.
lost your shirt, so to speak.
Everything. I lost everything I'd worked for 17 years. I lost most of my properties. It was extremely tough times. But looking back, Dion, it's the greatest gift life could have given me, looking back now, because I really grew during that period. And I
Okay.
don't believe I'd be doing so well today if I hadn't been through that period.
So what was it that you learned? Was it about business or about yourself or a combination?
I realized, when you got your back to the wall and you confront the situation, we as a human being are incredible what we can achieve.
Yeah.
You use, you use every sense you've got and every ability. It's hard work, but it's amazing what comes out of this. And I'll never forget when I was going through this tough time, I sat next to a gentleman, all by chance at a wedding. He's a multimillionaire. I don't want to mention names. He's a billionaire today.
Mm.
And I thought it was a really coincident sitting next to him. And I said to him, I told him my story, and he didn't show any sympathy. And he just said to me, Gordon, have you got your back against the wall? And I said, my back is squashed against the wall. And he said, no problem now, you'll get out of your mess. And I didn't quite understand what he was talking about, but looking back today, he was so right. When a person's got their back against the wall and they're willing to confront their situation, you can achieve. It's amazing what you can achieve.
Yeah, that's amazing. I hear exactly what you say. It's when times
Yeah.
are really tough, when
Yeah.
you have to deliver or almost go bust. Um, I also understood that even, during that time or when it happened, you really went through a very dark patch even, you even,
Serious, really dark. Because at the time, I'd never been in financial difficulty before, and I
oh,
had
yes,
nobody else. It's not like today. The whole world, banks are in trouble, so it's not a big deal if you're in trouble. I was
yeah,
all on my own, and I did on two occasions. I contemplated committing suicide because I felt I'd let the
yeah,
banks down,
mm,
and it
mm,
was actually frightening. Thank God I didn't. And
yeah, yeah.
the rest is history.
So, with your back against the wall in this dark patch, what was it? What was the thing? What caused you to actually take action then and start almost afresh and get on and do it. What was the one thing that got you off your backside?
It happened one night. I was locking up the restaurant, and I don't know, something came over me, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to get out of this mess. I had no idea how. It was, I don't know. I just said to him, I made a decision.
Yeah,
and I thought I'm going to get. I didn't tell anybody. I just told my existing girlfriend at the time.
Yes.
And fortunately, she was very supportive.
Yes.
She said, "You can do it.
Yeah.
We'll cut costs. We'll live like on a shoestring, but I know you can do it." So I had her support.
That's fantastic.
Because I mean, I was in an impossible situation. Most people said to me, "Go bankrupt and just and it's not my way of doing things."
Yeah.
And that's what I can tell people: make decisions and don't ever doubt them, because believe me, you'll find the how. It'll come to you, and I've proved that.
Yeah. What I also hear you say is that it's almost in the process of just starting to do something, anything. Just the fact that you are making decisions and taking steps forward, and even if they turn out to be, maybe wrong, at least
Correct.
you've done something and you've
Exactly.
progressed. Okay, no, that's great. So, in this process then, as you started with, I always want to say, starting completely new, how long did it take you to build up to a point where you were actually all right then?
At maximum, it took 5 years. I was all right, and then in 5 years I did it. I'd say 7 years maximum. From being technically bankrupt, I could have retired in 7 years.
And what was the one business at that time, or the one thing that you did? What did you focus on?
But I just focused on the restaurant because I had to service a 5 million rand overdraft,
Yeah.
which was over 100 grand a month. So I worked like crazy in the restaurant,
Yeah.
to build up the cash flow, to service that loan while I sold off assets,
Okay. So essentially, the restaurant, you could work in it really hard and generate the cash flow to start paying off your debts.
Absolutely. And I always thought,
Sure.
now, why didn't I work like this before? I had a gold mine and I was sitting on it. I didn't know,
Yeah. Yeah, but you had your back against the wall then. You had to start with that. Gordon, so let's get back to the property business. I know that's one of your I always want to say one of your products or one of your books that you've done is your whole process of investing in property and generating an income from it. And you also have quite a nice story of you were able at I think during 1 year to actually buy quite a number of properties. If I'm not mistaken, it was 100 properties.
Correct. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about that. What is this property business, and how did you do it?
Yeah. Fortunately, I had the experience, of buying properties, and I attended a seminar. You probably heard of Kurt Coetzee seminar in 2004. Yes. And listening to his seminar, I realized, I've been doing this my whole life, except with the wrong type of property. And I just tweaked things a bit. And because I was so familiar with it, I got all enthusiastic again, because now I was almost debt free. And I thought, I'm going to take one more chance. I thought, because you could only get bonds till the age 55.
Oh, yeah.
So I was then 54. And then I went on a buying mission. I went crazy.
Yes.
Because I only bought cash flow positive properties. And then those days was very easy because you could get bonds easy.
Yeah.
And that's what, fortunately, look, I had the experience. So it was quite easy for me to do it. I had the skills. And that's what spurred me on. And today I own over 250 properties. Every single property, well, Deon, I can tell you, is bought with no money. I borrowed every single cent.
Goodness. That's absolutely fantastic. Do you think it's still the same, though? Do you think it's still the same in this market, in this day and age? People would, and I've heard this before, people will say, yeah, but, there's a National Credit Act now. Yeah. Or there's a Consumer Protection Act.
It's not that easy today. You've got to, the banks are scared. They will eventually, people have got short memories, they'll start easing up. I believe, I don't know how you found it, but some people are getting bonds, starting to ease up a bit now.
Yeah.
But it's those days they were careless. They were lending to anybody, Tom, Dick and Harry. So it's going to take time, but also it protects, if the National Credit Act was in when I borrowed that 5 million, they would never lend me the 5 million. So I would have been protected. So in one way, people are being protected that they don't overextend, So the idea is to cut your costs, live very frugally. I believe, some people buy fancy cars to impress people they don't even know. Rather, I remember I drove a Uno. I kept my expense and rented a 1-bedroom flat in Mhlanga Rocks.
Yeah.
And I built up my assets again, built up a income. Then I started spoiling myself. But everybody wants instant gratitude, and that's a big stumbling block on the road to creating wealth.
I can only agree with you. I remember when I was in my early 20s, I was a young attorney in Joburg at the time, working for quite a big firm. But I just got out of my article. So I was starting to earn a little bit of money, and I was actually still staying in a little garden flat, and I had this fantastic two-seater car, sports car. But back at home, I was living in a small little garden flat. It's just exactly what you say. It's putting the pretense of trying to impress people, and not actually investing in the right things. So I also had to learn. I think we covered the Credit Act, and just to add to what you say, I also think the Credit Act was quite a good thing, and yeah, just to obviously I am in the property business myself, and I can only confirm that for the right kind of property and the right investor, banks will lend money again. And more so, banks are lending money to people. So our property market is definitely, it's now early 2013, our property market is definitely improving in this country again, with the banks also coming to the party.
I totally agree with you, Deon. Totally.
Yeah. So I just want to finish with a property question. Did you ever invest in commercial property, or was it mainly residential properties?
No, I have one commercial property. The property that my restaurant was on, I still own that today. Plus, I bought another commercial property. If you saw my book,
Yes.
when I lost my lease.
Yeah.
I bought a commercial property then.
Yes.
And I'd say if you're starting out, start out with residential because it's safer.
Yeah.
And then as because I've got friends who're still sitting with empty property in Johannesburg, commercial property.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and you still drive around today. There's a lot of to-let signs, especially where I live now in Cape Town, on commercial property. So starting out, start small with little residential, and then build up to commercial.
If you say, look, some of our people who listen to the Viditrainer interviews are not, that well versed with property. What do you mean if you say a cash flow positive property? What does that actually mean?
That means your rental will cover all your expenses, your bond, your levy, and there'll be a surplus at the end.
Okay.
You can get this. I think Mambele Estates that they in Joburg, they still sell cash flow positive properties today.
Yeah.
It's a mind shift, Deon, because I remember when I bought my first one, I thought, is there something wrong? This property's too cheap. And it's because not the property you would live in, it's an investment property.
Yes.
So, and you've got to just take that mind shift, and it's a little business you're buying.
Yeah.
And that's the way you got to think of it,
Yeah, I think you're completely right. Seeing the property as its own little business, it has to generate its own income to be able to pay its own expenses.
Right, correct.
Yeah. A lot of the Viditrainer subscribers are entrepreneurs, and you're an entrepreneur and a coach. What do you think is the one thing that entrepreneurs, especially in our country, has to do, or has to focus on, or has to do more of?
Number one, you've got to have the right attitude, and you've got to mix with the right people. Other people who are maybe in their own business and that are doing the right things. And it comes back to attitude, and you've got to work hard and keep your expenses as low as possible. So whatever you sell, you make a bit of profit, and you can create a surplus. It's actually very simple. Keep everything as simple as possible, and make a surplus.
Yeah,
and invest that surplus in property. You cannot go wrong with property. I mean, it's been proved over and over again, Deon. You're obviously aware of that.
Yeah. So you would say that even our property is obviously your preferred asset class. Do you still invest in the stock market?
No. I invest in Satrix. I'm going to stop now monthly because it's so high. The market's pretty high now. But I feel that's a safe way of, I put money away there, I park it there, and then when I need it, I use that money to buy property.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also invest in Satrix. I think it's the easiest way to get into the market. And
absolutely.
These tracker funds are absolutely fantastic, and they're just so much cheaper than anything else that you can get onto to get onto the stock market itself. I agree. I use the same thing.
Yeah. I think we need to warn people. There's a lot of people are buying these trading systems.
Yeah.
And I personally know of no one who's made money trading. In fact, they say that only 5% of people make money trading. And people are getting caught. You can lose actually a lot of money, especially when you start with futures and options that other. And I think you need to warn people about this. Deon, it boils down to there's no easy way.
Yeah.
To make it back. There's no overnight riches.
Absolutely.
It's just doing the right thing on and being patient, and eventually you'll be rewarded.
You know, just to add on to what you said now, I come from a banking background. You know, in my earlier days as an attorney, I worked for a number of the bigger banks here in South Africa, and I can only agree with what you said. As a day trader, it's unbelievably difficult for the small guy, you know, the individual, to even compete with the banks, because you can't. I mean, the sums of money that they move are huge. You know, they make these big moves, and you don't have the information. It's not as readily available to you as an individual investor as it is to those banks. For instance, I'm just saying banks because there are other big investors as well. But the individual investors really are almost at the mercy of the movements and whims of the larger investors to a point. And I agree with you. Certainly I'm not a fan of these trading systems and guys trying to be traders. I'm sure there are a few of them who make money, but you know, the people that I've spoken to the most, they've lost their money that way.
Exactly. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. This is the point why I always come in and I say a little bit about Viditrainer. Viditrainer is an online resource for entrepreneurs to improve their businesses and their lives. And if you're not a subscriber yet, please do go to viditrainer.co.za. That's VIDI trainer, and enter your details to get updates like these. You know, with new interviews and things like these with people like Gordon. Gordon, do you have any other advice for entrepreneurs?
It's actually simple. You know, you start off small, and before you go into business, you know, piggyback. Say there's a lot of people go and leave their jobs, they get fed up, and they try and open a business. They think it's so easy. Yeah. And that's a big no-no. Rather piggyback and start off your business slowly, until it can afford to keep you. Then leave your job. You know? Yeah. And it's just a slow process, and do the right things. You know, follow just basic principles. Work hard. Save your money, live within your means, and enjoy the process. Yeah, that's certainly.
What are you currently busy with? You know, where are the places where our people can find you? And you know, as I said, what are you busy with actually?
Yeah, I'm busy now. I'm improving all my systems now, so I can get free up some time. You know, because I spent the last 2 years working hard, doing a lot of admin, and I'm busy freeing up time because I want to spend more time kiteboarding and paragliding, and leading a more balanced life. Yeah. So that's where my attention is now, and I've just completed the Streetwise Mentor coaching program, so that will run on its own now. So basically, tweaking my systems. That's where I am. Yeah.
So the Streetwise Mentor coaching program, what is that about?
That's basically giving people the truth. You know, there's the system out there which. That's why only 4% of the people are financially free at the age of 65, because something's wrong. Yeah. And people are making wrong decisions on wrong information. So basically, over the years, I've managed to find the truth, and it's so easy. It's just basic principles applying, and they lead to success. You see, so it's principles which are logical and universal laws which work, and that's basically it's a 52-week program. Fantastic. And we're getting amazing results. You know.
And it's online.
It's online. It's very simple.
So where can they find it? Streetwise Mentor.
www.streetwisementor.com.
.com. Oh, so it's a .com.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm running a special at the moment, 2,950 for a 52-week program. So they're getting really good value. Yeah. And guaranteed they can have their money back if it doesn't work. So there's no risk.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic offer. You know, a program like that, 52 weeks of coaching, and you know, as you said, the truth for that amount of money. Are you sure are you sure you're charging enough?
You see, I make my money in property, so this is just my way of giving back and helping people. You know, I'd love to give it for nothing, but if you give something for nothing, it doesn't work.
Yeah, people think it's got no worth then.
It's the value, the perceived value.
Yeah, sure, I agree with that. Gordon, thank you very much for this. I really appreciate it. I think this will add a lot of value to our subscribers, and thank you for your time.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you, Deon. I appreciate you calling.
Fantastic.